Greetings, Benjamin J. from Ben's Trains with another in the series. Well, as promised, the final video on the Marx Commodore wind-up conversion. As you see, I have the locomotive assembled and the motor is installed. The finials are installed and we're getting ready for its first trip around the rail as a completed locomotive. Now, remember, this began life as an $8 wind-up. Had a hole in the side, a slot in the top. We filled that with epoxy putty. And as you see, even close up, you cannot tell that there was ever a hole in the side of this locomotive or a slot in the top of the locomotive. This actually came out quite well. So it's been repainted, touched up. I've painted the finials, just got them installed, put the motor in it. Let's turn the power on. We'll take this around for its first trip around the rail as a completed locomotive. Now I've got a original Marx tin litho consist with a Marx searchlight on the end. So this is the final video in the series of the conversion of a Marx Commodore Vanderbilt wind-up to an electric locomotive. This is going to be its first trip around the rail. As you see, this locomotive actually looks quite good. So total cost to build this is about 10 bucks. So it looks nice, it runs well, it gives you a custom locomotive. You can paint this any color you want. Red, blue, yellow, green, white, black, it doesn't make any difference. It's easy to do, anyone can do it. Total time to actually do the conversion is about 2 hours. Of course, spaced out over a period of several days, simply because you have to wait for the epoxy to cure and the paint to dry. So there's 4 coats of semi-gloss paint on the shell itself, 3 coats of chrome paint on the finials, and as you see, this locomotive is up and running and actually looks quite respectable. From a foot away, this actually looks brand new. Now, is it perfect? No, it isn't. It's far from it. It's still an old locomotive. This is 75 years old, something like that. But as you see, it actually looks quite respectable. I don't think anyone would object to owning this. It looks nice. It was absolutely dirt cheap, and it just reinforces everything I say. Don't overlook the junk. Just because something's junk when you get it doesn't mean it's going to be junk when you're finished with it. So, no sanding involved at all on this. I did all of the body work with a standard file, filled the hole in the side and the slot on the top with epoxy putty, and as you see, this old locomotive, even up close, looks quite respectable. No one would ever know there was a hole, a half-inch hole in the side of this locomotive, or a slot in the top. It actually looks quite respectable, as you see. Touch up the finials with some chrome paint, 4 coats of semi-gloss paint on the shell itself, install a motor, single reduction, double reduction, whatever you have, and this old locomotive is up and running. Total cost to build this was about $10. So it's inexpensive, it's a lot of fun, it gives you something to do, and the result is a custom Marx Commodore Vanderbilt. This started life as a wind-up. I found it on eBay with a broken motor, bought it just for the shell, and then basically 2 hours work. And you can have yourself a really decent looking and running Commodore Vanderbilt for $10. Anyway, this is the final video in the series on the conversion. But as you see, it was worth the time it took to do this. It looks nice, it runs well, it was absolutely dirt cheap, it was fun to do it, and best of all, this is the result. A 75-year-old Commodore Vanderbilt that looks like it was made yesterday. As I said, I don't think anyone would object to owning this locomotive. It looks nice, it runs well, no one would ever know this started life as a wind-up. It was absolutely dirt cheap, and it was a lot of fun to do it. And of course, you have the satisfaction of knowing you're the one that brought this old locomotive back to life. So it runs nice, it looks nice, it was absolutely dirt cheap, it is completely custom, resurrected from the dead. I bought this, I can't remember, it was either $8 or $10 on eBay with a broken spring. So I bought it just to get that shell. And then a total of about 2 hours work. And this locomotive is up and running. Not only runs well, but it looks new. That's the neat thing about it. About 2 hours work. The biggest tool I used was a file. And as you see, this actually is quite respectable looking. It looks nice, it runs nice, it looks virtually new. It was absolutely dirt cheap. Anybody can do this. It just depends on you, how much time you're willing to put into it. But I documented as much as I could of the actual process. It is not difficult to do this. Anyone can do it. And as I said, even up close, you cannot tell that there was ever a half-inch hole in the side of this locomotive or a slot in the top. It looks nice, it runs nice, it was absolutely dirt cheap, it was easy and fun to do it. So, the last in the series of converting a Marx Commodore Vanderbilt wind-up to an electric locomotive. 4 coats of paint, 3 coats of chrome paint on the finials, and about 2 hours of your time. And you can have yourself a truly custom Marx Commodore Vanderbilt. Again, is it perfect? Nope, far from it. It's still a 75-year-old locomotive. But as you see, it is a very nice looking 75-year-old locomotive. And you have the satisfaction of knowing that you did it yourself. So just want to do a quick video. It'll be the last one in the series. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.